My name is Troy Wynn. I'm the team leader. I'm a senior planner in development services, and I'm team leader for the Beltline Corridor Redevelopment Project. As part of the city's ongoing effort to achieve excellence in land use, City Council has directed staff to begin putting together a unified plan for the redevelopment of Beltline Road. As one of our major retail corridors, Beltline sees more than 45,000 vehicles travel on it every day, and as such, it's one of the first impressions that people get of the city of Irving. Our plan is focused primarily on improving the visual appearance of Beltline Road, and to that end, we're looking at a two-pronged approach. On the one side, there's some public investments we'd like to make to kind of kickstart the transformation of the corridor. And on the other hand, there's some incentives we'd like to offer to private property owners to encourage the transformation of their individual properties. On the public side, we're looking at screening some visually problematic land uses from public view by installing some screening walls similar to the ones on South MacArthur. These screening walls have cedar planks, brick columns, and would use those to screen the Roadway Express, Federal Express trucking terminals, some of the outdoor storage uses at Rock Island Road, and to create a uniform wall adjacent to the single-family homes between Findlay and Rochelle. Additionally, we'd like to put in place some intersection enhancements at 5 critical intersections along the corridor. These intersections are Shady Grove, Pioneer, Rochelle, Northgate, and Walnut Hill. And at these intersections, we'd like to bury the overhead power lines, put in place brick pavers in the crosswalks, and install park-at-park elements at all 4 corners, similar to what you see at Shady Grove and MacArthur, where you've got the planting beds, the vegetation, and some statuary at some of the intersections. We'd like to enhance the medians between Rock Island and 161 with planting areas and fresh vegetation, and put in place entry monuments at Cobble Road and one on either side of 183. It would be similar in style to the one on South Beltline, so that whether you enter the city from the north, the south, or the center, you know at once that you've arrived in the city of Irving, that we're a community that takes great pride in its appearance. On the private side, we'd like to offer incentives to encourage the enhancement of building facades, landscape, and also potentially offer incentives for the removal of some pole signs and their replacement with monument signs where that would be appropriate. And something else we're starting to do around the city is break up the community into functional neighborhoods. And at the heart of each functional neighborhood, there's a commercial center that serves the business needs of that neighborhood. And we've identified on Beltline 2 such village centers. One of these is up at Northgate, where there's a Tom Thumb and a Kroger, and that provides the grocery needs for the surrounding residential neighborhoods. And the other village center is the regional center here at the Airport Freeway Cloverleaf. We have Irving Mall, Target, Lowe's, many other commercial establishments. What we'd like to do is encourage those village centers to come up with a unified visual theme that they could use to market themselves and create a distinctive brand. And we would use that to, we would encourage the installation of unified facade elements and improved landscaping to enhance the look of that area. In order for anyone to be eligible for incentives, they would need to adhere to certain design guidelines that we set forth in this program. Our ultimate objective is to get existing businesses to start to look like the sorts of things that we're approving today at City Hall. So any alteration to a property that would bring it more into compliance with our current commercial design guidelines in terms of enhanced building facades, or to bring its landscaping more in compliance with our current landscape design guidelines, would be potentially eligible for incentives. Additionally, we'd like to see sidewalks widened because there's a lot of pedestrian traffic on Beltline Road. And we'd like to eliminate the number of curb cuts along the corridor where possible, because every curb cut is a potential source of conflict for traffic flow. And at some lots, some parcels are served by more curb cuts than they need if you were to connect the parking lots to the adjacent properties and create some access easements. So as we work on a block-by-block basis on what the future of the corridor should look like, working with the property owners, we could identify whether connecting adjacent lots would enable the elimination of a curb cut and also potentially enable us to restripe lots so that traffic flow, interior traffic flow and parking is more efficient. Further, we'd like to encourage the screening of accessory devices, vending machines, red boxes from public view so they don't clutter up the front of a building facade. And something else we'd like to see done is a transition of outdoor storage uses off of Beltline Road. We would like the existing businesses to continue, But when an existing business has run its life cycle and the property owners looking to sell their property or looking to relocate for reasons of their own, we'd like to see something new come into that spot that would be entirely within an enclosed structure. And for that reason, we'll propose rezoning outdoor storage uses so that that use transitions in the future when the existing business is ready to change locations. Implementation will take place over many years. Our first 2 years will be focused primarily on work within the public right-of-way. During year one, would focus on median enhancements between Rock Island and 161. And we would also begin putting together plans for the installation of the screening walls and the entry monuments. And we would begin working on the rezoning of those outdoor storage uses. Additionally, during year one, would focus on putting together a Beltline corridor bond package. And would continue working on that bond package so that we could take to the public the opportunity to say, yay or nay, let's transform Beltline Road, let's really invest in it as a community. Also during year two, would actually install the screening walls and the entry monuments and would finish out the zoning cases. If the public supports the idea of transforming Beltline Road, then in year three, after the bond package has been issued, would begin working on the Pioneer intersections enhancements. And would also begin working with the village centers, the one up at Northgate and the one around this airport freeway area, to come up with an identity, a marketing strategy, and a future look for those two locations. That work, given the number of property owners and business owners that would be involved, is going to take place over a couple of years. And so in year four, when we'd begin working on our Rochelle intersection enhancements, we'd also finish out putting together the plans for the two village centers. Also during year four, if we have not done so previously, we would begin putting together a tax increment financing district for Beltline Road. And what a tax increment financing district is it's a funding mechanism. Every time property increases in value, the amount of taxes it pays increases in value. And that increase in taxes is called the increment. And what a tax increment financing district would do for Beltline Road is that increment would go back into funding transformation along the corridor instead of going into the general fund where it would be used anywhere in the city. We would like to have a TIF district for Beltline in place by 2018 because that's when the Las Colinas TIF expires. And once that's in place, we'd begin actually implementing the village center plans and also the transformation of the Northgate intersection enhancements. Then during year six, we would begin working on our first individual segment plan. And the segment plans are how we're going to bridge the gap between one intersection enhancement and the next. What we'll do is the city staff will meet with the property owners on a given block or one or two blocks, a small segment of the road, meet with the property owners and the business owners and figure out what could be done to improve the looks of that particular stretch of road. Whether we can improve the landscaping to a depth of 30 feet from the road edge, which would be our ideal in order to create a visual impact for landscaping, whether building facades could be enhanced, whether we could eliminate some of the curb cuts, whether some of the pole signs could come down, and work with the individual property owners to come up with a plan for that block. And once we get a village center, a linear segment plan put together, we could estimate the cost of those enhancements and make some sort of offer in terms of the amount of incentives that the city could provide to help pay for that transformation. In year seven, we would actually begin implementing that first segment plan, and then we would begin working on the second segment plan, drawing that up with those property owners. In order to do the sort of transformation we'd like to see on Beltline Road and to change the look of it from Shady Grove to 161, and the city staff is estimating the total cost of that transformation to be about $54 million if we were to improve the landscaping 35 to a distance of 30 feet from each road edge, transforming the 5 critical intersections, installing the screening walls, installing the monument signs, and enhancing the medians. What we're proposing is that the city allocate $10.6 million in general obligation bonds. $1.2 million would be from existing funds allocated for infrastructure enhancements, and that would be used to enhance the medians and the screening walls during the first 2 years of work, while the public has a chance to consider whether to adopt a Beltline corridor bond package. The balance of the funds would be from a specific Beltline corridor bond package that would be specifically earmarked for enhancing Beltline Road. That would be about $9.4 million. We would supplement these general obligation bonds by creating a Beltline corridor TIF. If all the properties along Beltline Road were to increase in value by 10%, that would generate approximately $250,000 per year that could be used to incentivize enhancements to building facades and to landscaping along the corridor. In order to supplement those funds, we would also pursue state and federal grants wherever they're available. Most of the grants that I've seen available to enhance the appearance of a linear corridor like Beltline Road are competitive, and they require that you have matching funds in place, which the bond package and the TIF would allow us to have, and that you have a plan put together. And that's what we're working on today. So here we're having our public forum. We'd like to get your feedback on these general ideas. Once we get some feedback from the public, we'll fine-tune our proposals before we take it to City Council. We may go to City Council as early as May. It's also possible we could wait till after the election cycle so that nobody's distracted by any campaigning. And once we have a plan approved by City Council, we would then actually begin stakeholder meetings in terms of plan implementation. Each year, for the duration of this project, we would meet with the people that would be affected by the following year's work. So during our first year, we'd meet with those people whose properties we would like to conceal behind screening walls, or people whose properties we would like to rezone, to work out with them what the new zoning category would be for that property, and where on a property a screening wall should go, when it should be put in place, and how it should be maintained over the long run. So we have copies of the plan on the website, cityofirving.org Beltline plan, and also on that website we have comment forms so that you can provide feedback after you've had a chance to take a look at it. And we also have an email address where I can be contacted, or my team members, beltlineplan@cityofirving.org.